they will have to win 3 more games than AXIZ. That can
That
include the
is
matchup between those
huge.
two teams. But, you know, both of them probably going to beat V3, both of them probably going to lose to DFM. Where are those upsets coming from?
We'll have to see. And I mean, the Hawks have drafted more standard than AXIZ in this one. There's a lot more kind of spice coming out. Mega Man playing on that Vex again. We've seen it a few times, and it's not been fantastic. But I mean, this is pseudo control magey, pseudo assassin-y, so I'm kind of more online with it because Mega Man was an assassin player, far more AD wise, but assassin. More melee mid. I miss his bruiser mids. I miss his Renekton's, dude. Like I just want him back on Renekton duty, but we're not allowed to see that. Renekton's
Megumin. Megumin.
Give me the old Megumin. Oh god, I love the Smash references, man. But at this moment in time, we've got Tol2 and Kinatsu doing the Akshan versus Aatrox that Kinatsu picked himself. Yeah, what did you expect was going to happen, Kinatsu?
Yeah, I think this is basically just a preview of the matchup for the next 11 levels? Or am I even copying here?
I mean, probably the whole game.
Maybe.
Yeah. I can't do. Sometimes you just get mental boomed by a pick, and in all honesty, all we can hope is that Konatsu plays really good weak side. The reason he didn't play Ornn is still besides me, is this is what you want to do. So then, yeah, I mean, you just scale up and you have better team fights, at least.
Yeah,
like that's the idea.
Then I think that's what Blitzcrank Sound is also saying as well.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, scale, Rise, Jinx, they're pretty good when it comes to late game damage, and okay, you know what, no, I thought I had a point about the range, but then realized there's Akshan Aphelios on the other team, so never mind that one.
Oh no, yeah, they don't have range. They just have better team. I don't even know what this match is. Oh, I hope Reiner.
Banger.
I hope Reiner. So, I mean, a lot of this comes down to how does Blank play this matchup in the early game. You can see him already pathing. He's done almost a full clear on his bot side, so now he's rotating around. He's getting golems, and I mean, hey, this is definitely a spot where if Tol2 doesn't have vision, which guess what? He doesn't. He's going to have to rely on his jungler. Swamp is coming up, but look at this. Blank's already there.
That's the flash forward and the swing around from Tol2. Unfortunate engagement. Okay, Reiner is mid lane, I guess. Megumin will flash over the wall. Dasher follows through for the first blood.
All right, guess what? Jungler tries it, doesn't work out. Reiner will try the flash forward, and it does work out. Dasher decides to follow flash, trade it, and hey, it works out. And because of the assistance that also came topside, they're able to get a bit more farm going for Konatsu. He's got 9 farm, he's got 10 now. But this is what's really important. It's Reiner, it's the flash forward, and it's the fact that they get so much CC onto Megumin. Look at this fantastic setup from Dasher. He's able to flash forward so they can get the stun there, and it's beautifully comboed by the side of the Fukuoka SoftBank HAWKS, and that's what you need to get going if your top side is not having a great time that they pick themselves into.
Yeah, Reiner just says, look at me, I'm the jungler now. And gets a kill over to Dasher, which, you know, is definitely in the right direction for the Hawks. We have had the reservations about how Dasher can convert that, but that is still in the future. And now, Reiner going in yet again onto Sanctu, forces the flash away, but the headbutt onto Blank from Dicey means that the gank is dead in the waters. Again, the top lane Okinawa is going to be attacked by the Boomerang, and Tol2 takes the kill, and easy as that.
Yeah, and the side of Hawks have absolutely nothing to do to this because AXIZ know, guess what? I don't have anything to clear in the anything to fear rather in this scenario because I know exactly where your jungler is. He just showed up bot side, so I can now go in on this top side because I know it's absolutely safe to do so. And this is just them unloading absolutely everything. Very early Ignite gets thrown down by Tol2, but it makes total sense. The Ignite tick is what actually gives it over, and you want more gold going onto this Akshan. You don't need to put it onto this in. The Akshan just gets like a full item completion, that mythic first coming in, which is probably going to be a Kraken Slayer, I imagine, versus the damage profile that the Hawks have got. It's just going to be so difficult for Hawks ever to get onto this Akshan. He's going to deal so much damage.
And now we get to see what really is the game plan here for them. Blank steals all of them.
Wow. All right. Touche. Touche. I respect it. I respect the hustle.
Yeah,
man ain't happy that his top laner died, I guess.
absolutely furious, I would go as far as to say, is going to start this dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Just commit for it. I mean, there's no vision from AXIZ in the river, and bot lane is stable. Dasher has slight priority in mid lane, so I guess it does make sense.
Yeah, and this is first dragon, and one of these AXIZ aren't a huge first dragon team. They have okay stats around it, but these are two teams that are far more similar to our previous matchup, far more concerned with the heralds as well. So I mean, I think it's worth us saying that this is just blank kind of understanding the pathing, and also understanding that where the enemy jungler was. They knew Xin Zhao was top side, so he's probably going to have to clear his jungle before he can rotate around. Both of them are now going to be rotating, clearing their top side so they can get prepared and put their vision down for this herald, which is going to be coming up in about minute 40. So that's the effectiveness of trying to play around as much as possible of the map control, vision control. And Hawks have got the nameplates where they should be more experienced doing this. So it's good to see they're doing this. Kanatsu finding the chains on to Akshan. But this is what I mentioned going into the loading of the game. Unless it's the Aphelios top, Toll 2 can just grapple out whenever he wants, and he just showed it perfectly there. I'm still really perplexed by this this pick. Why would you do this? Why would Kanatsu do this? I really want Twitch chat to flame me out because I'm missing something obvious, but I can't think of it.
I mean, if we're missing something here, then, well, first of all, it's both of us, but second of all, it's a learning experience, I guess. So we are going to find out how good that HAWKS pick is this game. Going to the base, picking up steel caps, defensive itemization here from Kanadu, which, again, when you... Oh, I mean, I just love this from Rhino. No! Bro, you can't do that.
Well, he kind of did it. He kind of did it. Marble's getting most of it, so I mean, the thought was there.
Out.
Yeah, the love, the idea. Marble was able to be mostly getting all of the CS, and I mean, what is surprising is that Reiner has actually got 6, but that's because, remember, he's got that assist. Marble wasn't going mid for obvious reasons. He was collecting his wave in bot lane and resetting, and when we look to the damage, small advantages have definitely started to come out for the Hawks. They found some of those early kills. They played around the map slightly better. Small gold, and it's important to obviously notice the placement of that gold, because obviously most of it is going to be more on the top side for AXIZ, who got more gold, whereas obviously it's more spaced around for the side of the Hawks with mid and bot.
And now Herald is going to be the target for the Hawks. Swamp doing a bit of invading in the meantime. There's no one defending this tower, which, well, good play, because your entire bot side jungle is under the control of Swamp and Dicey. But it does mean that Sanctu gets... That's the second free plate. We're going for the third one. That is going to be a lot of gold on the Aphelios.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge amount funneled into them. And I mean, this is just the side of AXIZ just going, yeah, we're just not going to play into the first Herald. Like, there's just no reason for us to do so. And they actually went for a really deep invade onto the bot side of the Fukuoka SoftBank HAWKS. We saw Swamp going very deep with Dicey. The problem is they didn't really find much, and Kanatsu's now getting engaged on.
Here comes Blank Flash stun into the dunk, and it's a well-executed gank at that. Kanatu takes the kill.
Yeah, and I was a little bit like, ooh, really? We're using Flash? We're throwing so much into this with the ult and everything else? I didn't realize Kanatsu could get burned down that quickly by an Akshan, and I completely respect it, and I love the idea and the amount of committal that they went for this, because, yeah, you need to put Kanatsu into a spot where it's not going to just die. Probably going back to get a Bramble Vest. No, actually, just going straight for the Ruby. Okay, so we're actually going for, what is this build? Yeah, I guess it has to be a Gore Drinker, right? Which is, I don't hate it. I just would have preferred going in for that second tanky item, dissuading Toll 2 from making these trades, because actually getting burnt in a few spots like this would be the more effective way for Kanatsu to play it. But I mean, Blank just plays it here. Yeah, I would just want the Bramble Vest. I'm just a Bramble Vest subscriber, I guess is the way to think about it. And then after you've built your Bramble Vest with your shoes, with your Ninja Tabbies, afterwards, go all in on getting that Gore Drinker.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, there's a reason why there's a joke. Well, I don't know if it's even a joke at this point, that the full build for tank in the top lane against AD is just Steel Cap's Bramble Vest.
Yeah, that's it.
Because it just works so damn well.
Yeah, and at most, it just dissuades the poking and trading that typically happens from these range matchups, because it's not normally enough to kind of like kind of out. Oh god, no, the words just aren't coming to me here, mate. Basically, what I'm trying to say is the poke does not benefit the overall outcome because you don't get enough damage down, and normally what the tank heals up nullifies what you're trying to do. So just doesn't really work out, and normally you end up being the slight dissuade. Oh my god, that's such a huge wave. Kinatsu would love some jungle help from Blank here to honestly like crash this wave in and almost push him off. And guess who's got ultimate coming up? So I mean, it's an option, but god, I didn't realize Akshan was so good at clearing from range. That's like he's a range champion or something.
Yeah, almost as if the abilities also are pretty damn good at wave clear when you start picking up some of that AD. Now, Swamp will start. The Dragon is an Ocean. You see, it would be very disappointing if it's a Cloud Soul, because both Infernal and Hex Tech are potential.
We'll find out the build path of this, but look at Toll 2, he's just going invisible and is just hopeful that something here. But that Rift Herald, that they were able to secure so long ago for Blank, they're doing this, but they set it up really weirdly, so they both have to pull off of the turret. Oh god, this is horribly done, honestly, by the side of the Hawks. They could have had first turret easily.
Okay, no, Blank going for the repeat instead is going to take the kill, so it works out in the end, but only because Swamp is in the bot side, and now we have to compare what Hawks got in the top lane with what AXIZ are getting down there in bot, and that is going to be the first tower picked up by Sangchu.
Huge mistake from the side of the Hawks. It was almost a guaranteed first turret into this top side, and a huge amount of gold coming onto Blank, and more so Kinatsu. They didn't set it up in a perfect way, so ultimately it's just kind of led to the side of AXIZ, and more than importantly, Sangchu has had so much gold. You highlighted it earlier, Kashka, with the gold plating that he was getting down there. The amount of gold put into this Aphelios must be just, honestly, just everything being funneled into them. And when it comes to playing these team fights, which we know AXIZ always love to do, these 3v3s, 4v4s, having one person in a side lane, Toll2 is definitely going to be the benefactor of that one. And it is going to be an Eclipse Shan, now that I mention it. What is going on? Also, second cull coming out for Sangchu. Cull number 2.
Man wants to farm.
Man likes gold.
He does indeed. I mean, who doesn't? Every ADC player does. Now, something that I do also want to point out is that Dasher is getting significantly ahead in this mid lane. If you look at the farm, also having a kill. The real question is, will this be the game where he is able to translate it over to the rest of his team?
What, an Aphelios translating their gold around?
No, I mean Dasher.
Oh, Dasher.
Yeah.
That's a fair point, because, yeah, he is probably the richest person in this game outside of maybe Sangchu. And, I mean, Dasher is on a fantastic champion to have a lot of gold in, right? He's got those first mythics coming through. Kinatsu also has that gold ring because the amount of gold that was put into him. But look at this. Swamp wants to potentially look at something, but they don't have a tanky frontline. And you know that Kinatsu can just throw down that ultimate. Dasher was able to rotate around to this bot side, so it's still playing around the fact that these two teams have got very strong members, a lot of gold injected onto them. Dasher just hasn't been put into a spot. We haven't actually seen a spicy realm warp, so till we see some of these things, I'm actually of the opinion that this just favors AXIZ at this moment in time.
Probably. There is a 3,000 gold lead, so at least raw stats-wise, we have a solid advantage to the Hawks. The second Herald will be gracing us just in 10 seconds. We'll see whether this one has any attention and if it's utilized more, let's say, effectively than the first
absolutely one. Yeah, and I mean, you can kind of pull it down to being like, well, some of the reason that there is just a 3k gold lead is there's a 30 CS difference in mid, which is something we kind of expected. Dasher has been having fantastic time doing a lot of this farming, and a huge other part of this is that a lot of gold just went through turret plating, right? Like Hawks got an extra one, so that's another 160 gold. It's probably onto Dasher, so that's where that's going as well, because there was one in mid. None were taken mid for the side of them, but that's what the Hawks want to fight for this second Rift Herald. They got number 1. AXIZ look to be wanting to contest for number 2 as Mega Man comes in.
Yeah, the Shadow Surge is available. Herald down to 3,500. It's gonna reset very soon. Yep, there we go. The Shelly is gonna go back to the layer. And the 5v5 standoff is going to result. Well, AXIZ now going for the Herald, and instead Dasher pushing out mid, seeing if maybe Hawks can look for the tower. Dicey forced to flash away. Ryan and Kanatu on the front side. Shadow Surge connects onto Dasher. Here comes Megaman, finds the fear, goes for the Infrost, and Rhino with a massive magnet storm. AXIZ just melt in the wake of the Hawks, and they will take the fight and the Herald.
All right, Ryan, go back to just playing Rel every single time, okay? Because this champion might not be meta, but guess what? Meta does not define the player. It does not define who you are and your team. And I mean, AXIZ be damned, the Hawks looking strong and looking to actually shore up this head-to-head record. This was fantastic. But yeah, I'm going to just look at Reiner. This is the Reiner cam show. Look at him. He's waiting for it, sees his whole team. Magnet storms in, gets 3 of the members, secures them down, double stun as well. That's the fantastic thing about this. And then afterwards, I mean, Blank just comes in for the ult, stun, and that was all the damage. What can you do? Sanchi wasn't even included in it, but when there's that much damage coming down and so much CC coming through, you just gotta panic and do what you can. And Reiner, take a bow, because that was something I expected from you from day number 1, and I'm glad it's only taken 11 days to get there, because guess what? This is only the halfway point. Hawks, let's see if you can keep cooking with gas.
This game is looking promising. It is 5,000 gold lead. They will take the first Infernal Dragon right now. And I mean, Dasher just got so much gold here. 3 more kills on this rise.
Yeah.
Thimble Winter completed 2 items. Right, that's your game to carry, Dasher. Like, you have to carry this one.
Yeah, and not only that, I don't think it's on just Dasher to do this. He's now got the item set up. Let's make sure that now Kinatsu does get some more gold on him. It's important. Toltu has not prevented Kinatsu from being as fed as he should be. Because let's be real here, Kinatsu having 150 goal, 150 farm at 17 minutes in is way more than he should have. He should not have that much farm. And if anything, Toltu should have a lot more farm. He should not have 140. He should have more like 170 gold. So 170 CS. So like if you look at like the small things here, AXIZ, the threads are starting to flail a little bit. You need to burn those threads, or you're going to start falling apart a lot faster than you want to. And that 5k gold lead that the Hawks have been able to be the benefactors of haven't actually found it yet. So Marble's going to start to become an issue when he gets his second mythic. He's actually finished that cull, so he's just got to sell it in to get more of that gold going. And as it stands, I think if Hawks want to play this game around the Dragons, I think that's a rather effective way of doing it, because 10 minutes from now will be around the 30-minute mark, and I mean, it'll be faster of an average game for them. So, I mean, that we take the small wins for the Hawks here, because, I mean, they have not been looking great, Kashka.
No, I mean, their 2 wins come from V3 only, as far as I am aware. And they have the longest average game time, the longest game time this split. It's, they're good at stalling the games, but they aren't ever really that great at winning. And mid-game, it's where things sometimes tend to fall apart. This flash was forced from Dasher here.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Well, and think about the benefits of blowing a flash like that. Blowing a random summoner like that, it means Dasher can't flash forward or flash out of a play when the side of AXIZ engage onto them. So when it comes to actually doing a team fight, I mean, the side of AXIZ are actually pretty happy with that. Dasher also wants to play side lane. Well, what about if we say, no, you're not allowed to side lane because we're going to just brute force somebody, send 2 people, and we'll try and cut you off. As it stands, though, we'll have to see if Dasher is going to be punished for that, because in reality, the resets came out and it benefits the Hawks.
Yeah, they are just continuing with their trajectory for the time being. The Baron is going to be up in 40. It is a Jinx Aphelios game, but I somehow don't feel like we are going to see too much action around that objective early on. Death Stance is now picked up by Kinatu. We've got Dasher going for the tank Rise build.
I think you raise a really interesting point, because while I agree with you, I don't think they will be going for this. We have got multiple champions in this game who can burst down a Baron particularly quickly, especially on the side of AXIZ when you consider Aphelios, Xin Zhao, and Akshan. These are really carries that can melt global objectives, especially when they get like 2 to 3 items deep. So we're just going to have to be worried on the side of the Hawk side. If they leave an objective open for 30 seconds, there is a chance that they could go for it. And it looks like Toltu wants to find Dasher here with Megumin.
Remember, no flash on Dasher, but he is a tanky boy, and Teleport is being challenged by Kanatu. Megaman now caught out in the alcove, will be looking to play around that Blasco. Meanwhile, Blank taking down Toll 2. Megaman falls to Dasher, and AXIZ looked for a pick in the top side, but they will be greatly disappointed as they lose 2 members, and maybe even this Baron.
And I mean, hugely well played by the side of Dasher there. Yeah, he doesn't have Flash anymore, but he's got Phase Rush, was able to proc it very quickly, masterfully played, preventing Toll 2 from collapsing onto him. And I mean, that's just going to be a Baron. And yes, fantastic, you're able to secure some pressure in mid, but the Realm Warp here will prevent you from doing any more of that. And God, Hawk look like a completely different team this game, Kashka, and I'm so pleased that they have found something to work for them this game. But the Phase Rush, as we come into this, is what really changed it. The stun coming out immediately, look at that damage thrown out, and because he's able to reposition in a way that is effective, when Mega Man comes into fear, he can't actually place the fear in a way that, in an angle that he wants to, so they're just able to collapse and get everything. And what else could the out of AXIZ done? I don't actually know. The Narwhals just kind of capitulated and kind of got collapsed on, and Hawks look really good. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to check the script because I did not expect Hawks to be the team holding a 9,000 gold advantage at 22 minutes. I mean, where was this team for the first half of this play? Like, they look decisive. They know the plays they're going for. Blank is doing things.
You don't have to call the guy out like that, but I mean, Frozen Heart now also coming in for the side of Dasher as well. But look at this, Swamp's going in.
Yeah, but Dasher just has the Fimble Winter. Everfrost stops the engage, and here comes Rhino with the re-engage. Marble takes the first kill to 5, picks up the double. There comes the dunk, and Blank looking for the stun. Toll to put in place, and 2 more rockets will do it with a triple kill for Marble. The sole point for Hawks, and 10,000 gold lead at 20 minutes.
This was the Hawks, ladies and gentlemen, that we believed in at the beginning of the split. This was the version of the Hawks we thought we could see. And yes, while let's actually start looking at the nameplates and going, okay, AXIZ, maybe not the strongest showing this game, but hey, AXIZ have very much pushed other teams in the LJL. The fact that the Hawks are pushing them and looking this good this early on in the game, this is 22 minutes. Hawks don't do this at 22 minutes. This is what AXIZ do. This is what DFM do. This is what Burning Core do. Hawk, Rascal Jester. Hawks, you haven't done this before. And I must say, I am very happy to see this. You just need to close this game out now. Because if you don't close this game out in the next 5 minutes, there are going to be some questions going around this game. And I think if there's going to be a team that's going to find a way of extending a game 5 more minutes for just silly reasons, AXIZ are one of those teams I believe could do that.
For sure, and yeah, I'm gonna save the overreactions for if Hawks end up closing this out, because I agree with you, they have a huge goal lead. It's 11,000. That is stomp territory.
Yes.
By all metrics. But they still need to get the Nexus. 4,500 Baron power play. Great. We love to see that. You've got 2.5 items on Marble, 3.5, well, 3 and a bit on Dasher, and Kanatu 2.5 as well.
Yeah.
This is looking like the Hawks, like the super team I was sold at the beginning of this.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And it feels like it's a positive trajectory for the Hawks. We wanted to see this. We started seeing them playing better over the last kind of really week. We've seen them kind of improving. We've just never seen them quite cross the finish line. Their match versus V3 Esports was a defining, changing point. The issue was for a lot of us, and especially us too, Cash, because we came into this match, it was like, they look good against V3, but what does that actually mean? Turns out a lot more, because in this match, Hawks have gone from strength to strength, and as long, and we will continue to say this, as long as they close it out in a time-effective manner, I'm happy. I'm very happy with them. They could have probably ended it off that Baron play previously, cracked the base, get an inhib, really put the game into just kind of it's over territory for AXIZ, but as it currently stands, I'm very happy with how this game is set. Let's see how cleanly the Hawks end. And with Baron coming up in 2 minutes, I would love to see them set up all their vision, collapse it, make it horrible for the side of AXIZ to ever try and come into their own jungles. and then play around the kind of vision objective advantage that they have.
Absolutely, and yeah, given the kind of performance that Hawks had in the first 10 games, like, baby steps. They don't need to absolutely stone this game yet. We want them to finish it, preferably with the next Baron.
Yeah.
But, you know, the fact that they didn't so far, I wouldn't worry about it too much now. Let's see, Rhino is setting up vision very aggressively. We have seen some very good engages, and Hex Flash is available. It's being channeled over the wall. Never mind. Just no shadow display.
I mean, I currently love what the side of the Hawks are doing at the moment. If you look at where Kanatsu is, he's just farming the bot side of the jungle of AXIZ, and he's just pushing the lane in, resetting now. He has got that TP. You know what's coming up? In 1 minute 30, it's going to be an Inferno Dragon. That's going to be sold for the side of the Hawks. And I actually, you know what I'd love to see? Vision control from Hawks on top side of river. And you can actually already see it as they actually buy some wards now, and some wards are actually expiring, getting replaced. I love the fact because they've controlled the top side of AXIZ jungle. They're now going to rotate around. Time to get the dragon control on the bot side. And you know what? We've already got some deep wards, so we'll have a really good idea on the side of what AXIZ are doing. Kanatsu, though, you're getting pretty far forward. I was a little bit worried. Dicey looked like he might be going for a move there, and Toltu was invisible. But what? Hawks do not have to force this Baron. They can just take Soul if they want to and then play around the Baron afterwards. So let's see what they do. What do you want them to do, Kashka?
I mean, honestly, the jungle is dark for AXIZ. I think there is definitely a case for Hawks to just go for this Baron. If they see AXIZ move, you know, turn on them, make sure you don't get destroyed by Megumin. But no, there is zero response. They will just take the Baron for free, which will mean AXIZ get their first setup on this dragon.
Not how I was expecting this, because if AXIZ don't fall, yeah, because they give this over, it's like, okay, you can now put deep vision in. Fantastic. The problem is, if Hawks just stay grouped, you do not win the 5v5. They are just so much further ahead of you. And also, do they even have to play around the Dragon Soul? Like, they don't actually have to if they don't want to. So, this is an interesting choice, and Rainer has found Toltu.
Oh, forces the flash away, interrupts the recall, and here comes Blank with the stun, and that's the kill. Top laner down, 4v5. Hawks are going to turn towards the dragon. The soul in their sides. They've got the Baron, they've got the Infernal Soul. Just take the resets, guys, and let's see if they can wrap it up.
You can't get any more than this, and I'm not quite sure what AXIZ were doing, because if you looked at the minimap when Toltu got found, his whole team were in the base. So I don't really know what AXIZ thought they were gonna do. Yeah, this just feels like we have a bit of miscommunication kind of coming through for the side of AXIZ. I mean, when you're this far behind 13k at 28 minutes, game's pretty much over in a lot of scenarios. So if you can find random ways back into this game, fantastic. If you can't, don't worry too much about it. Hawks, how are we going to end this game? We're going to do an old J-Ram, or are we going to do something else? At this moment in time, it actually doesn't look like we're going to do a J-Ram. We're going to just go to the top side, maybe? Play through Vision? Guys, you've got Baron. Just brute force them. You've got 13k more gold. You are just so much richer. Like, you have the money, you have the items. Like, Marble has an extra pickaxe just in raw advantage over Sangchu. Like, they should just be forcing these stuff.
They absolutely should. 1-4 is going to be the call, with Kanatu being left to push mid lane. That is music to my ears, saying that sentence. And yeah, the top lane tier 2 is going to fall down. Inhibitor towers now are going to be the target. Rhina has Flash, has Magnet Storm. That is the fear gone from Megumin. It is going to be recharging pretty fast thanks to all those procs for the passive. And mid lane Inhibitor tower almost done. If not this way, if you have to imagine on the next one, Kanatu will be able to get this. And this is just textbook siege from Hawks.
Yeah, and think about the timers now. It's 30 minutes, so I mean, Baron minions are going to always have a cannon minion, so it's going to be just extra sieging power for the side of the Hawks. They waited a bit longer on this Baron. They were patient, but guess what? They are rewarded, and that is the first turret going down. And you know where that pressure is going to be, because Kanatsu can now be in the base of AXIZ whenever he wants to.
Yeah, and Blank goes over the wall. He's looking for the dive. The turret has been disabled. Blank thrown to the backside of the fight. Here comes Rhina. He detonates AXIZ on this spot, and that is a quadra kill in it.
Give him the panda.
Give him. Come on, do it. Marble You will not be able to get it, but Hawks will take the win over AXIZ. 30 minutes, shorter than average, shorter than most, and they will even up the head-to-head. They will even up the standings. The super team, I welcome them back.
One and all, if you called yourself a non-believer, you made that known rather early on. The Fukuoka SoftBank HAWKS Gaming pick up their first win over